Hello my lovely people and welcome back to my channel. This is part 2 of Never Give Up. I hope you all will like that part. 3 days passed and Kiyomi didn't went to practice. He was sleeping and crying the most of the time. Komura brought him food and had to force him to take a shower and eat as well. When the doorbell rang again in the evening and he thought Motoya forgot his key, he got angry and ripped open the front door. What the hell do you want, Moto? What do you want? Are you here to pick up the rest of your things? No, I never wanted to move out in the first place. Can I come in? Kiyomi just stood there for a moment gazing at the love of his life. Even though he was very hurt, he still loved Itsumo with all his heart. He stepped to the side and signaled the setter to come inside. Kiyomi watched as Itsumo automatically took off his shoes and put them in their usual place and immediately disinfected his hands. The two went into the living room together. Itsumo's heart broke at the sight of their living room. There were plates, drinking glasses and cups on the coffee table. Itsumo knew how much the germaphobe hated it when Itsumo didn't put his dishes away. Seeing Kiyomi leave his dishes showed how bad he was. The setter never wanted to hurt his beloved, and seeing how badly Kiyomi was doing only made Itsumo feel even more guilty. Why are you here? We have nothing more to discuss. You made your choice. No, Omi? I don't let us end like this. We have to at least talk it out. Itsumo, you don't have another choice. I don't want to talk with you. It hurts to see you. These words pained Itsumo greatly. He knew he had no right to be hurt, but he never wanted to hear such words from the person who had saved his life. Seeing how much he had hurt Kiyomi Sakusa, the person who had always been there for him, supporting him, and the germaphobe who got on a packed train just because he was worried about the setter, broke his heart so much that he began to hate himself again. For Kiyomi, it was hard to see the love of his life knowing that he was in love with someone else. Of course he wanted to save his relationship, but what would be the point of being in a relationship with someone who is in love with someone else? If he stayed in this relationship he knew he would be hurt again and again, so he had to end it. He was also aware that if he did not get rid of Itsumo quickly, the setter would manage to make him listen and he would eventually forgive him. No, I will not give up on you. You can hate me as long as you want, but I will fight for you. I will not give up on our love. That's the problem, Itsu. I don't hate you and that's why it hurts so much. I could never hate you, Itsu. I am so deeply in love with you and it fucking hurts that you don't. I think you should go. No, Kiyomi. I will not leave. I know and I will do whatever you want to make you feel better. I know I can't change my feelings for Toro and I can't change that I hurt you. But I swear I didn't act on my feelings and I never intended to do so. My feelings for him don't change those for you. I am still madly in love with you. Atsu, I will always love you, but to know you are in love with someone else hurt. But what makes it even worse is that it's Toro. I thought I could trust you and didn't have to be jealous because he was just your best friend. But he is obviously more than that. If you are in love with Toro, then you are obviously not in love with me anymore. I swear as soon as I realized my feelings I cut all contact to him. I love you, Omi, and that is the truth. You can be in love with more than one person. But isn't it more important that I choose you, Omi, and I will always choose you? I know it is hard to believe that you can be in love with more than one person, but it is possible. I know for sure that I never stopped loving you. In fact, I think it is not possible for me to stop loving you. Why couldn't you choose me from the start? Why make me wait and suffer? Do you know how fucked up I was in the past few days? Tears welled up in Kiyomi's eyes again, which surprised him as he thought he had already cried out. He looked up and saw Itsumo's face, which only made him cry even more. When Itsumo took a hesitant step towards him, he didn't step back. Atsumu took that as a sign that he could take more steps. At this point he knew he had lost the fight to keep Atsumu out. Kiyomi was pulled into Atsuma's arms. He didn't hug back, but he didn't push Atsumu away either. He could tell by the way Atsumu spoke and the expressions on his face that he was telling the truth. Even though he could not understand how one person could be in love with several at the same time, he understood that Atsumu still loved him. Kiyomi was afraid to let Atsumu back into his life, but the thought of losing him forever scared him even more. I am so incredibly sorry. I should have told you how I will decide. I was always going to choose you. I just needed time to accept that I will lose my best friend. I didn't meant to keep you in the dark. I just had my head in a dark mindset and couldn't think straight. Please forgive me and give me another chance. To prove you that I love you, I swear I will cut all contact to Oikawa and Iwaizumi. I will do everything to prove that I am yours only. I will need time to forgive you and to trust you again. Does that mean you're taking me back? Yes. But I want that you sleep in the guest room. Why, you want that I move back in? I need to see that you are not with him. The thought that you are with him is driving me crazy. Even though Kiyomi knew that Toru was in Argentina, the thought that Atsumu might be talking to him on the phone or that Toru might be in Japan troubled him. He needed the reassurance of seeing that Atsumu was with him and not with Toru. Atsumu ran his hand over Kiyomi's face. When their eyes met, Kiyomi took a step back. He wasn't ready that Atsumu could be touching him with that loving look on his face. For Kiyomi it felt fake. The blonde seems to understand and took a step back. I still have to talk to Oikawa. That would mean I have to meet up with him. You didn't talk to him beforehand? No, I wanted to talk to you first. I can't end our 10 years long friendship over the phone. I have to do it in person. And I didn't really thought about him a lot in the past few days, because you were the only one in my head. The curly-haired boy was glad to know that the blonde didn't talk to Toru. That made him a bit more comfortable with Atsumu already. He decided to take a step towards Atsumu, who immediately also took one. Kiyomi laid his head on Atsumu's shoulder. He began to sob quietly. Atsumu immediately wrapped his arms around Kiyomi and tried to comfort him. They stood there for a while. When they broke the embrace, Kiyomi sat down on the couch. Atsumu stood there for a moment, not sure if he should sit next to his boyfriend or if he should put distance between them or if he shouldn't sit down at all. He decided to sit on the couch but keep a bit of distance between them. Are you hungry? I have a nigiri and fatty tuna in my bag. I am not hungry. When was the last time you ate? You always told me to eat even if I'm not feeling good, so you should do that too. Kiyomi didn't answer and just looked at the floor. This gave Atsumu the answer he expected but didn't want to hear. He got up and walked to the entrance where he had put his bag. He carried it over to the coffee table. He gathered all the dishes that were all over the coffee table and put them in the kitchen. He came back into the living room with fresh dishes and something to drink. After that he went straight back into the kitchen and came back with a cleaning cloth and cleaned the table. Kiyomi just sat on the couch the whole time and watched Atsumu move around their apartment as if he was never gone. He watched Atsumu pull out the food and this brought tears to his eyes again. Atsumu brought the food with him in several food storage containers which he kept in a warming bag. Everything looked clean, what was important for him because of his germophobia. It touched him that Atsumu always made sure that he kept everything clean even though the setter hated to clean. When Atsumu saw the tears in Kiyomi's eyes, he panicked. He wanted to sit next to him but he didn't know if he was allowed to touch him. But he couldn't see his lover crying alone. He hesitantly sat down next to Kiyomi and put his arm around him. When Kiyomi didn't move away and didn't seem to be uncomfortable, he pulled him into his arms. Omi, I will not force you to eat if you don't want, but I can see you didn't eat much in the past few days. I just thought it would be good for you if. That's not why I am crying. I can see you cooked those. You never cooked on your own accord before. I always had to convince you. You're only doing that because you messed up. Atsumo let go and slid slightly away from Kiyomi. He looked down and let his tears fall. He couldn't do anything without hurting Kiyomi. I always just pretended that I didn't want to cook for you, because then you would help me and we could do it together. I had to cook it 4 times because I kept crying into the rice and made it too salty. It was never my intention to make you feel like I didn't want to cook for you. Yo, you just wanted to cook with me? We should eat before it gets cold? The two ate up in silence for quite a while. When they were done, Atsumo cleaned up the kitchen while Kiyomi took a shower. Atsumo's point of view. When Atsumo was done with the kitchen, he also cleaned up the living room until the front door opened. When he looked up, a furious Motoya stormed towards him. Just as he was about to say something, he fell backwards after Motoya punched him. He tried to break his fall by wrenching his hands backwards, unfortunately supporting himself with his injured hand, which made him wince in pain. His face was hurting him, so he put his left hand to his mouth and found that he was bleeding from his mouth. I guess I deserved that. What the fuck are you doing here? Didn't you hurt him enough? Just let him alone. No, I am here because I love him. I know royally I fucked up this time. And I know better than anyone how fucked up the whole thing is. And believe me when I say, I hate me enough for all of us. You know me, Toya, and you should know what the whole thing does to me. Your hand? Did you do that to yourself? But seriously, Tsuma has it to be your best friend? Out of all people? After everything from high school? Oh, I wish it wasn't T. Oikawa, but I can't control my feelings. I wish I didn't have to lose one of the most important person in my life. But I choose Omi and I will fight for him. Even if it means that I have to lose my best friend. I just want him to be happy. And what if he only can become happy again without you? As long as he is happy, I will accept it. But as long as there is still hope that I can make him happy, again I will not give up. I love him more than myself. If he is unhappy with me, I will let go of him. Atsumu, what happened? I heard a thud. Kiyomi came out of the bathroom in a bathrobe and quickly ran to Atsumu when he saw him bleeding. Toya? What the fuck? It's okay, Omi? I definitely deserved that. Why did you let him in? After everything he did to you? After how much he hurt you? Kiyomi got up and quickly went to the kitchen and got some ice and a towel. When he came back, he helped Atsumu to get up and sit on the couch. He wiped the blood from Atsumu's mouth with the cloth. Then he wrapped the ice in the cloth and used it to cool his cheek. Are you going to take him back just like that? Toya, it's not that easy to let the love of your life just go like that. Even though he hurt me deeply, I know we have to talk it out. It's not like we are talking about a new relationship. We are talking about 7 years that I spent loving him. Toya, I know I messed up, but I never wanted to hurt Omi. You know how much I love him? And I wish that I didn't have those feelings, but I can't just forget them. But I choose Kiyomi over Toru and I never cheated. But you did fall for someone else? Yes. But that doesn't mean that I don't love my Omi anymore. But, Toya, that is enough. I already decided to give him another chance. Fine. But if you, Atsumomiya, hurt him again, you are a dead man, understood? Yes. Motoya put the food he brought for Kiyomi in the fridge and went home. The two sat silently side by side for a while until Kiyomi took a deep breath and turned towards Atsumu. As he was about to speak, he saw that the bandage on Atsumo's right hand was red. "Atsu, is the blood on your hand from the bleeding in your mouth?" Atsumo looked at his hand and slowly shook his head. "The cuts keep tearing open. I fell on my hand when Motoya hit me and the cuts must have torn open again. It's not that bad, I just have to change the bandage." "How did you got hurt?" "I got angry at myself for hurting you and I kinda smashed the mirror in Samu's guest bathroom." "How bad is it?" "Not that bad. I just can't play for a month. I will go clean up my hand and then I will prepare the guest room. You can go ahead to sleep. I will see you tomorrow." "Good night, Atsumo." A few days passed in which the two talked more and more to each other. There was a lot of crying, but slowly, one by one, they were able to fix their problems. Kiyumi was beginning to understand that Atsumo's feelings for Toru didn't change how much the setter loved his spiker. "Omi, don't you think that is enough cleaning? Let's eat something and then do the rest later?" "No, the apartment is disgusting since you." Kiyumi froze mid-movement as he realized what he was saying. He turned to Atsumo, who was obviously on the verge of tears, but he tried to hold them back. "I am sorry. No, Tsumu, that was not what I meant. I meant that after you moved out that I didn't cleaned properly." "No, it's okay, we can keep cleaning. Can we, maybe talk for a second?" "Yes, of course. About what do you want to talk to me?" "You know Toru is trying to reach out to me for a while. I just texted me that he is on the way back to Japan. He think he will come here to talk to me. But I know you don't want him here, so I texted him and asked him if we could meet somewhere else. I asked him to meet at Osamu's restaurant." "Are you two going to be alone?" Atsumo hated the pain growing within himself and the pain in Kiyomi's eyes. He walked up to Kiyomi and pulled him into his arms. He was glad to be able to hug Kiyomi again, even when he was afraid of being rejected. Sometimes Atsumo wasn't allowed to touch him. It always hurts him when the spiker pushes him away, but he understood. "Yes, I think that is something I should do alone, but I wanted to ask you if you want to come with me and wait in the restaurant while I talk to Toru in the back room. I guess that would help to calm me down." "See, can I kiss you?" "What? Forget it. I will go clean the bathroom." "Atsu, please don't change your mind." Atsumo went back to Kiyomi and took him in his arms again. He laid his head on Kiyomi's shoulder. "I won't. I promise you. Then you can kiss me." "You sure?" Atsumo looked up. When Kiyomi nodded, he pulled down the mask Kiyomi was wearing for cleaning and kissed him. In the beginning it was a soft and a bit uncertain kiss. Until Kiyomi put his hand around Atsumo's waist and pulled him closer. Atsumo wrapped his arms around Kiyomi's shoulders and pulled himself even closer to the other. The black-haired man picked up Atsumo, who wrapped his legs around the ace's waist. Kiyomi took a few steps towards the nearest wall and leaned Atsumo against it. "I missed your touches. And I missed touching you. My bedroom is already clean." Atsumo was momentarily surprised as he didn't expect them to go that far. But he was glad that Kiyomi opened up to him again. The setter leaned his head against the wall and took a deep breath. The spiker kissed Atsumo on the cheek. He placed multiple little kisses. As he reached the neck, Atsumo gasped. We see, can go to my room. It's also already clean, but I can just change the sheets later. There will be a smut scene on my Instagram. But it isn't finished yet. It will be up on Instagram tomorrow or the day after tomorrow." Kiyomi was sleeping in Atsumo's arms. The blonde played with his partner's black curly hair. Tears ran down his cheeks. The tears were on the one hand from joy and relief, but on the other hand there were also tears of sadness and feelings of guilt. No matter how hard he tried to get Toru out of his head, he just couldn't. He was relieved that Kiyomi decided to forgive him and trust him again, but he hated himself for still wanting his best friend by his side. When he realized he was starting to sob, he grabbed his phone and snuck out of the room. He went into the bathroom and turned the shower on. He sat on the floor and let his tears flow and the sobs out. He took out his cell phone and called someone he had trusted most of his life. On call. Sumu, I am at work, I don't have time. S.A. Samu? Atsumu heard him give orders to his staff and left the kitchen. Sumu? What happened? I slept with Omi. And now I feel like the biggest ass in the world. Why? You are trying to save your relationship and sleeping together is part of it. I know, and it's not like I didn't want to, but afterwards I had to think about Toro. Did you thought about him while you did it with Kiyomi? No? So you didn't do anything wrong? You just miss your best friend. You made your decision and now you are allowed to miss the person you are going to lose. Thank you, Samu, that helped. No problem, you know I'm always there for you when you need me. Right back at you. See you tomorrow. And thank you that we can use your restaurant. The back room is anyway empty tomorrow. See you. Atsumu put his phone down after the call ended. He quickly jumped into the shower. When he came out of the shower he bandaged his hand new. He tore his cuts open again while he was in bed with his boyfriend. After he was done he left the bathroom and went into the bedroom. Kiyomi was still in bed and asleep. He sat down next to the sleeping beauty and stroked his cheek. The spiker slowly opened his eyes and looked at Atsumu. You should take a shower and then we should eat something. I will cook while you are in the shower. That sounds good. Can you make miso soup? If you have the ingredients, of course. That is the end of part 2. I hope you all enjoyed it. Please let me know what you want to see in the next part. Love you all and see you next time. I have an Instagram account where I will make updates and where I will upload smut scenes. Omis_Atsu99. Join my Discord server. I'm occasionally in the voice channel. If I am in the voice channel I will announce it on Insta. Link is in the description. I apologize for the grammatical errors. Write me a comment how you liked the story. Don't forget to follow. If someone wants a video, please let me know it. I will try to write your ideas as best as possible.